Hi friends, I'm Lacey Finborgo, and my inbox has been filled with parents asking lots and lots of questions. I was a I still am, a homeschooling parent for like 13, 14 years. And I was a public school teacher. In fact, my first two degrees are in education. My last ones are in Doctor of Ministry. And I'm a spiritual director with adults and with children. And so I've got a few ideas around this. And I thought maybe I could just offer them and hopefully they'll be helpful. Maybe you can pick up a seed and then sort of jump off with them. Or, they might not be helpful at all. You may try them and be like, that woman's lost her mind. So can I just offer you a little bit of guidance? One is to, right now, with all of our children and adults in the same space, we need to make some space. So making space for grief. And that means like our losses. I mean, in our household, we've lost my oldest daughter, her freshman year in college cut short. She's home. So she's lost some independence. She's lost expectation and hope. And my youngest daughter, who loves music, has lost concerts, like 4 of them over the course. So the opportunity to be heard and completion. And I lost a trip to Ireland. We've just all got a lot of feelings rumbling around here. So how do we make space for those feelings? Well, there's a couple of ways. One way that's helpful to us is we use art to process our feelings. So I've got some paper out on the table, which we might have to use for toilet paper at some point. But anyway, we have some paper out on the table and some markers and just the opportunity to draw how you're feeling in those moments. Also, we make space for music. So my youngest daughter really processes her feelings through playing the piano. And that means like she is really these days, she is playing some piano. And it's not all happy songs or in major keys. And we're just trying to make some space for that. Now, to be completely honest, sometimes it's just driving me batty. And I'm not allowed to have any alcohol. So I have to move myself into some space away from her so she can express. And we are going to also need to make some space by giving each other margin. And that means to have some ability to forgive and allow people to express their projections of their feelings onto us and saying, wow, that's just not about me. That's not about me. And letting that go. I mean, again, I'm just being as real as we can. Last night, our little family, all of our feelings got all mixed up together. And we were it was like monkeys throwing poo. It was rough. And we needed to just, after the poo was thrown, we just sort of settled in and had some conversations with each other using I language. I am feeling. This made me feel. And then we get down to the kind of core of things, the deeper, which is I'm sad or I'm scared. And the main thing to do is to remain connected. Our feelings and our thoughts are going to spark and fire. And making space just to let them settle and to process them. But remaining connected, a little distance, but remaining connected. It's that staying turned towards rather than turning away. And it's going to happen with our young children at home too. They're going to say and do things that are really going to grate on us. And we want to make space for them to be able to do that. And we want to hold a boundary, like that was inappropriate. You need to spend some time by yourself, maybe. But we remain connected. We still turn toward. And about a rhythm. Can I also talk to you about a rhythm? So I hear a lot of questions around homeschooling, like my kids are not in school anymore. Now we need to homeschool. So let's answer that after we talk about a rhythm. Having a schedule is very good for young children. In fact, elementary age kids, a schedule really helps. It gives a sense of security. It's almost like a fence. Like, you can play in this yard, but here's the fence. And there's safety and security in that. And but for adolescents, not so much. That feels more like control. So one of the things that we've done with our adolescents, we are at home with a nearly 19-year-old and a 15-year-old. And one of the things that we've done is give guidelines. So, like, this is the time when the lights go out. Everybody, we need to sleep, because we're going to need sleep in order to live with one another. So this is the time when the lights go out. For us, we're trying to meet at 8 in the morning for meditation. Just some time to be quiet and be present with God. We're trying to get outside and get some exercise. And so these looser guidelines, we're saying no screen time during this time. Let's all commit to setting the devices aside and being present to each other. We don't have devices at the kitchen, at the table when we're eating generally. So those kinds of guidelines that you can all get in on and agree to. So a stricter schedule when they're younger, you can loosen it up some when they're teens, so they can sort of step into their agency. So on homeschooling, can I just invite you to have a conversation with your children and with your partner, whoever that you are living with, and you may have extended family living with you too, and ask the question: do you actually want to homeschool? Homeschooling can be stressful. No, homeschooling is stressful, and so do you want to do that at this time? It doesn't mean that you're hanging up learning in any way. There are lots of different ways to learn. Wonderful audiobooks be a wonderful opportunity to learn to listen to story and engage story. Khan Academy is a great place to do some practicing. My college kid is getting some calculus tutoring through Khan Academy, so that's a great resource. But it might behoove you to loosen up the schedule a little bit, loosen up the homeschooling. However, if it seems to work for your family, go for it. You might learn some new things. You yourself might be learning some math. I think we have right now this idea that soon enough things will go back to exactly the way that they were. And that's a misnomer. We will have before COVID-19 and we will have after COVID-19. And not in a scary way, but in a something new is happening. We're learning new things, and we can't ever go back to the way that things were. We can't. That's true with everything. And the other thing that I would encourage you to do is to move your body. Whether you have like a nightly dance party, maybe you have like a 10-minute dance party where you blare music and everybody dances, or you go out in nature and you take a walk if you can, again, staying away from people. But really, we're going to need to move our bodies for our health's sake, but also for our emotional health's sake. When we move our major muscle groups, it really helps us to process those strong emotions. So get your body in on some movement. I've just had a conversation with my children this morning and asked that one of them, who loves exercise, would take us through some strength training. I'm getting older, so I could use some, and we'll see how that goes. I'll let you know. And the last thing that I would encourage you to do is to honor your children's agency. This is a God-given, their own wants and desires and longings. So as you set your schedule for your home, whether tight or loose, whether you homeschool or whether you don't, whether you limit screens or how you limit screens, whether you go outside, sit down together as a family and learn to talk to one another. Hear what your children want. Now, can I also tell you that doesn't mean you have to do it. You have been given wisdom, thanks be to God, and you need to listen to that. And but hearing a child and acknowledging their thoughts, and even, saying yes as often as you can, and then holding that boundary for your no's. That's going to shape your family. It's incredibly transformative. And then lastly, can I just do a small plug? So my website, gooddirtministries.org, has other resources on it. You are welcome to it. We try to give it away when we can. And what we can give away is my book on, this has family devotions in it, how to engage our life with God during the season of Lent. And then my recent book, Spiritual Conversations with Children, Listening to God Together, is just a book about how to host a spiritual conversation with the children in your home. Please feel free to email me questions that you have. We'll try to stay connected. If I don't know, I'll try to find someone who does. Blessings.